Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'm your host, Konrad, on Wednesday Night Reviews, and from superheroes to average Joes, here's what I read this week. So I finished off my trade paperback of Once and Future King. This one collects the first 6 issues of the story. It's published by Boom Studios, written by Kieron Gillen, drawn by Dan Mora, and the colors are done by Tamra Bonvillian. And this was a fantastic book. For those of you who don't know, the initial release of the book was kind of a big deal. A lot of people knew it was coming out. It got quite a bit of spin within, I guess, the comic world. And when the first issue came out, it basically sold out to the point where even looking at my local comic shops that I like to go to, they were like, "Yeah, no, it's if you didn't pre-order it, you're not getting it." And the series was so popular, and it ended up actually getting 7. That's right, 7 reprints of the first issue, and I think 2 or 3 of the second issue. After that, everyone knew it was coming out, and they grabbed it. And it did not disappoint. I wasn't sure exactly what I was getting into. I loved the look of the book just from the cover. I happened to get lucky later on. I snagged a couple. Or I snagged rather the issue. It's actually, you can't see it. It's above Sex Crims on the back here. And I didn't really know what it was about going in. I'd never read anything by Kieron Gillen before. Dan Mora I knew from Klaus with Grant Morrison, and I love his work. So it's just like, regardless, at least I'll enjoy the art. It'll be something cool to read. And I mean, with a cover like that, like, come on, it's going to be sweet. So Once and Future King focuses on Duncan and his Gran. Now, Duncan is a very, very wonderful, smart, kind man. He's pictured there on the blade. He's the ginger guy with the glasses. Our introduction in the book to him, I think, is probably the funnest one. Here he is at the top. Here is his date on the left with wine all over her shirt, because he is a bit of a klutz, and he's anxious, and he's a little odd, not very good socially. And, while that date's going on, this is when his life gets turned upside down. He actually gets a call from Gran. Now, the young lady on the date with him, she figures, oh, it's an emergency. An emergency, really, yeah. So the date's over. But what Duncan isn't expecting is when he comes out to meet his Gran, sweet old Gran, living in the old folks' home, 75, she helped raise him. Great old lady. He takes her, and she makes him help her get a lot of guns and weapons. And the story goes wild from there. It focuses, like I said earlier, on Arthurian Legend, King Arthur. And what this cool take on the legends does, it's not even a take on the legends, it involves them, though. What this awesome comic does is look at what would happen, 400 or 500 years later in the modern world had those events truly occurred as magically as they were supposed to be. And what the descendancy of everyone from that time would look like, and how they would defend themselves, as well as try and take care of England, which is what Arthur always wanted to do, and what his heirs would have done. The characters in it are all really cool. Duncan is a great character to meet. If you met him on the street, he's just a great person. Like, you think of him, he's a little odd, but you know right away he's a good guy. You can trust him. Not to mention, he's not bad looking. And Gran is a badass. Like, there's just... I got nothing other to say that she is a badass granny. And if nothing else, you'll enjoy their dynamic. Even if you care nothing about Arthurian Legend or know nothing about it, you will like their dynamic. And through Gran and how she teaches Duncan about what he has to deal with now when he's helping her, you actually get cool little tidbits that give you enough about the history of Arthur, even if it's just little tidbits, to understand what's going on and never feel like this is super hard, I don't know what's happening, or why are they here, why are they there. Gillen fills you in just enough to make it make sense, and Dan Mora's art I can't speak to enough. Like, it is absolutely gorgeous. His use of coloring, especially in this book, because how it blends like the normal with the magical. He plays with color a lot, such that you've seen the shot before where it was very drab, a lot of beiges and stuff for the date scene, and it got a little more dark, but palette wise, a little more colorful on this scene that I showed you, and that eventually, when it gets full blown magical, turns into this. Oh yeah, and don't mind this thing, it's fine. It's not a big deal or anything. Alright everyone, so the killer art in this by Dan Mora and Taryn Bonvillian is wicked. The use of colors, the illustrations, the character design, as well as how they're portrayed and how they move is fantastic. The wacky worlds they find themselves in and how bright or dreadedly dark they can be is a great reflection of not only the environment but the phantasmagoric end of everything. The writing itself by Kieron Gillen, whom I'd never read before, I was very happy with it. But they blended everything so well. Just good back and forth between their main characters, as well as a wicked blending of sort of the events of Arthurian Legend. It gives it its 2nd star. Those two clearly worked well together, so there's 3. The 4th star is because truly I did just put this down and rip right through it. It was fun, it was exciting, and I mean, what more can you ask for? It was great. And that's actually, for me, where it ends. I didn't pull anything huge emotionally out of it, but if you're looking for a quick, fun read that you will enjoy, and I'm sure will make you want to pick up more, Once and Future King will be your book. Again, guys, 4 stars, written by Kieron Gillen. Dan Mora does the illustrations with Tamara Bonvillian doing the art, and this is published by Boom Studios. Alright everyone, thanks for tuning in. Give us a like, comment down below what you thought of Once and Future King, and of course subscribe for more. That way you can catch all my awesome reviews, as well as some of the interviews I do with local Toronto shops, and have yourself a wonderful rest of your day. Like I said, it can't... Konrad.